Hello, everyone. Hello, researchers, and hello, future nurses. Our topic for today. In any research study, the accurate measurement of variables is essential to ensure the validity and reliability of the findings. Variable represent the characteristic, traits, or attributes that researchers seek to describe, compare, or analyze. To draw meaningful conclusions, this variable must be measured using systematic and standardized method that reflect the true nature of the phenomena under investigation. So selecting appropriate measurements methods not only enhances the credibility of the research, but also allows for replication, comparisons, and statistical analysis. So the following sections discusses the various methods used to measure the variables, depending on their type of level, the level of measurements, and the nature of the study. So good day, everyone, and let's proceed to the topic methods to measure variables. So there are the key features of quantitative research. We have your consistency, which is reliability, and accuracy, that is validity. When we say reliability, refers to the consistency of a measurement tool, whether it produces the same result when used repeatedly under the same conditions. Validity, on the other hand, refers to the accuracy of the tool, whether it actually measures what it is intended to measures. This is the type of the designs. We have quantitative design and qualitative design. In the quantitative design follows a deductive approach, moving from general theories of observation to specific outcomes. So it aims to test the hypothesis using numerical data and statistical tools. While in the qualitative design, on the other hand, follows an inductive approach, moving from specific experiences or observations to general understanding or theories. It focuses on exploring meanings, patterns, and insight from participants' perspective. The specific and well. Okay, so because quantitative research uses clear and specific measurement, its results can often be applied or generalized to a larger populations. Next, we have your generalizability. That is an important in quantitative research because it means the result of a study can be trusted to apply to other people who share similar characteristics to those who took part in the research. Next, choosing what question to ask. Okay, when conducting research, choosing what question to ask depends on the several factors. We have the nature of the study, whether it is quantitative or qualitative, experimental or descriptive, determines the kind of questions suitable for the data collections. Next one, the topic being explored guides the focus on the questions so they are relevant to the subject matter. And then we have the aims and objectives of the study, ensures that the questions are aligned with what researcher wants to find out or achieve. In short, the question should be carefully designed to match the study purpose, type, and focus to gather meaningful and accurate informations. Okay, this is the existing quantitative data tools. These tables are present different focus areas or well-being and corresponding measurement tools commonly used in quantitative research. So here are the brief explanations. Each focus represents particular aspect of health or quality of life that researcher may want to measure, such as physical, psychological, social, or emotional well-being. The tools listed are standardized instruments designed to assess those areas accurately and consistently. For example, the short form 36 or SF36 that is measures individuals' perception of their overall physical and psychological well-being. The kidney disease quality of life short form that is assesses the perceived health status among individuals with chronic kidney disease. The MACNU heart disease questionnaire evaluates the quality of life of people with heart disease conditions. Other tools such as Karmos Sky Performance Scale, Index and the State, Trait Anxiety Index, that is measure specific dimensions like physical, functioning, and emotional well-being. So in summary, this instrument help researcher gather quantitative data on the different aspect of well-being, making it possible to compare and analyze health outcomes objectively. Okay, we have your uh, statistical data. We have your classification of statistic. We have your descriptive statistic that is organized and summarized numerical data collected from samples and allows examination of the study participants. The characteristic are the behavior, experiences. While in the inferential statistic that is concerned with the populations, uses sample data to make inference about the populations, help to determine real differences versus chance differences, and determine the likelihood that sample chosen for a study is actually representative of the populations. These are the key concepts in the statistic. In statistic symbol, in many research articles, words are used instead of symbols. Mean or average and M used for frequently. In statistic, different symbols are used to represent data from a population and a sample. For example, the Greek letter MU or yung U represent the population mean or the average value of the entire populations. The English letter S or SD represent the sample standard deviation, which shows how much the values in a sample differ from the sample mean. In short, Greek letters usually describe population parameters while English letters describe sample statistics. Okay, these are the descriptive statistic. We have your four classifications. We have your measure to condense data that is used to summarize the condensed data. So it includes here the frequency distribution, the graphic presentation, and percentage. And then we have your measures of central tendency, measure of variability, and measure of relationship. Okay, punta tayo sa measures of central tendency, which is your mode, median, and mean. Pag sinabi natin measure of central tendency, that is a measure of variability. So describes of spread of score in distributions, range, percentiles, standard deviation, variance, and C-score. So kung makikita nyo, pag sinabi nating central, that is refers to the middle or average value, and tendency, that is refers to the general trend of the number to a cluster in a certain way. So measure of central tendency, sometimes they are abbreviated as M or presented as X bar, average of a sum of values found by adding all values and dividing by the total number of values, also called as arithmetic mean. Okay? So considers all the values as a whole. Next, we have your median. Pag sinabi nating median, sometimes abbreviated as MD or MDN. Okay, that is the middle score or value in a group data divides the frequency distribution of the data in half. That is appropriate for ordinal, interval, and ratio data. When percentiles are being calculated, median is the 50th percentile. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, you can find the median here. And then after you find the median, put the data in order and then select the middle value. So that is median. Next, we have another central of tendency. We have the mode, sometimes abbreviated as MO, category or value that occurs most often, determined by visually analyzing and counting the data, the modal class, category with the greatest frequency. Okay, as you can see, if there are two modes, that is bimodal. If there are more than two modes, that is multimodal. Next, we have your range. That is the distance between the highest and lowest value in a group. That is simple measure of variability. Presented as a single number, interquartile range contains the middle half of the score or the semi-quartile range found by dividing the interquartile range in half. Okay, so in short, that is the difference between the largest observations of the data set and the smallest observations. Okay, we have your standard deviations. In the standard deviations, most widely used measure variability when interval or ratio data are obtained and describe how values vary about the mean of the distributions. And usually they are abbreviated as SD or S. Measurement that indicates the average deviations or variations of all the values in a set of values from the mean value. Okay? This is the example as you can see on the first screen kanina, and then square the difference for example and then add together these squared differences. And then after that, you divide this number by the number of observations minus 1 and find the square root of this number. Okay, the risk of measurements. The risk of measurement refers to the possibility of making errors or inaccuracies when collecting or recording data. So this error can occur if the measurement tool is not reliable, not valid, or incorrectly or used incorrectly. Such risk can lead to misleading result and affect the overall accuracy of the research findings. So example, measurement risks include using a tool that does not truly measure what it claims to measure. So that is magkakaroon ng low validity or inconsistent result when the same measurement is repeated. So magkakaroon siya ng low reliability. Researcher or respondents biased during the data collection, poorly worded questions or unclear instructions. And reducing this risk requires using standardized tested instrument, training data collectors, and applying consistent measurements procedures. Next, we have your inferential statistic, that is refers to the statistical method used to make conclusion or predictions about the population based on collected data from a sample. Because these conclusions are based on probabilities, so they involve a degree of uncertainty or assumptions. They are often presented as probabilities or the p-values, which indicates how likely is that observed results happen by chance. Since inferential statistics are based on probability, the findings remain open to being proven or disproven as a new data or evidence becomes available. Okay, a p-value tells us the probability of obtaining the observed result or more extreme. If the null hypothesis is true, in simpler terms, it helps measure whether your findings could happen by random chance. For example, p is equal to 0.1, there is a 10% probability that observed results are due to chance. Kapag p is equal to 0.08, that is 8% probability that results are due to signs, or p is equal to 0.02, that is 2% probability that results are due to chance. So ang key points natin dito mga anak, lower p-values indicate stronger evidence against the null hypothesis. So yes, the lower the number, the better in terms of statistical significance. Typically, mga anak, ang p-value that is less than 0.05 is considered statistically significant in most research fields. That means the chance of your results being random is small enough to reject the hypothesis. So, for example, yung p is equal to 0.02, that is stronger evidence, more statistically significant. Pag p is equal to 0.08, that is weaker evidence, not conventionally significant. So always remember, a p-value does not measure the magnitude or importance of an effect, just the likelihood that the result is due to the chance. Okay, so yan yung sinasabi ko kanina, a p-value of 0.1 usually written as p is equal to p equals to 0.1 would mean that there is a 10% chance that findings of the study occurred by chance. The lower the number, the better. And then these are the types of data. Nominal data are categories without any specific order. There are basically labels used to identify or name things, like the name of your school, the type of car you drive, or the title of a book. Pag sinabi naman nating ordinal, On the other hand, show a clearer order or ranking, but the exact difference between the ranks are not meaningful. Example, include ranking your favorite sports, the order of people standing in a line, the position of runners finishing a race, or a ratings on a scale from 1 to 5. Okay? In interval data, have meaningful differences between the values, meaning the gaps are equal but there is no true zero. For instance, the difference between 29 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit is the same as between 78 and 79 degrees. But 0 degrees does not mean no temperature. And finally, ratio. Data are similar to interval data, but they are natural 0 point, which allows for comparisons like twice as much or half as long. Example of a ratio data includes measurement of time, weight, height, or temperature in Kelvin. So that is basic skills that we will know in terms of you're measuring the variables of the data. So these are the references if you want to more into the deeper explanations of the deeper statistical tools that we will use. So it is important that in your doing your measurements of variables data, you need to consult in case of your study is more on the quantitative type. So marami po tayong ginagamit na statistical tool that is applicable to your research problem. So always consult with your advisor or your statisticians in terms of that, so that sabi ko nga kanina, we have your risk measurement. We need to measure and we need to indicate the proper data or measurement or what do you call that one, statistical tools in your study. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening, everyone.